Maharaj and exchanged the child for the daughter given birth by Mother Yashoda.
我们知道，在 Krishna 出生之后，瓦苏德瓦就带着 Krishna 去了 Nanda Maharaja 的家，把 Krishna 跟 Yashoda 妈妈生出来的女儿做了调换。
So that daughter who was given birth by Mother Yashoda, Lord Krishna, Vasudeva rather, took that daughter, the girl, back to Mathura.
亚修的妈妈生的那个女儿就被瓦苏德瓦带回了马图拉。
And Vasudeva went back into the prison house of Kamsa.
瓦苏德瓦回到了康萨的监狱。
And the next morning, they all declared that Devaki has given birth to a child. So Kamsa immediately came there.
第二天早上，大家都宣布 Devaki 生了一个女孩，然后康萨立刻到了那里。
Because Kamsa knew that the 8th child born from Devaki was going to kill him.
因为康萨知道 Devaki 生的第8个孩子会杀了他。
So Kamsa had already killed the first 6 children of Devaki.
康萨已经杀了 Devaki 生的前6个孩子。
And the 7th child was a miscarriage.
而第7个孩子流产了。
So now the 8th child had appeared, and Kamsa immediately came there, and he grabbed the child from Vasudeva and tried to throw it to the ground.
现在第8个孩子显现了，康萨立刻赶到监狱里，他从瓦苏德的手中抓起这个孩子，想把他摔在地上。
But instead, the child assumed the form of a demigoddess and rose up in the air.
但是这个孩子显现了一位女半神人的形象，并且升到了空中。
And that child is worshipped by many different names.
这个孩子是被人们以很多不同的名字来崇拜的。
This child is actually Durga.
这个孩子其实就是 Durga.
So Durga is a form of the Lord's energy in the material world.
Durga 是主在物质能量，主在物质世界里的能量的展示。
Durga is not in the spiritual world.
Durga 并不在灵性世界里。
In the material world, she is.
它是在物质世界里。
And this is described in the prayers of Lord Brahma in the Brahma Samhita.
这在Brahma Samhita 之中，由 Brahma 的祷文有所表达。
Shrishti Stiti Pralaya Sadhana Saktarika Chaeva Yashya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Echanurupam Apiyasya Chatestatesa Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vachami. The creating, maintaining and annihilating deity of the mundane world is worshipped by all people as Durga.
这个世俗世界的创造、维系和毁灭的神，被大家崇拜为是 Durga。
So this form of Mother Durga moves like a shadow under the direction of the Supreme Lord Govinda.
所以 Durga 母亲的这个形象就像是阿夏杜，是在至尊主 Govinda 的监管之下运作。
And this was also realized by Srila Vyasadeva after taking instruction from Narada Muni.
这也是Srila Vyasadeva 从 Narada Muni 那里得到教导之后的觉悟。
Vyasadeva had compiled all the Puranas and he had not found any satisfaction. Then Narada Muni came and chastised him that he had not properly glorified the process of devotional service.
Vyasadeva 编纂了所有的 Purana 宇宙古史，但是仍然他不满足，所以他的灵性导师 Narada 来责怪他，说他并没有恰当的去描述纯粹的奉献服务。
So at that time, Srila Vyasadeva then did some meditation, and he meditated on the Supreme Lord, and he saw the Supreme Lord, and he saw the material energy under the full control of the Lord.
在那个时候 Vyasadeva 做了一些冥想，在他的冥想之中，他看到了至尊主，他看到了至尊主的能量，他看到至尊主的能量完全在至尊主的控制之下。
So this material nature is fully under the control of the Supreme Lord.
因此，这个物质自然完全在至尊主的控制之下。
In the Bhagavad Gita, maybe you also know, those of you who are studying Bhakti Shastri, you may know the verse in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
你们这些学习 Bhakti Shastri 的同学们可能知道，在八卦 Gita 的第7章里有那样的一个诗节。
Devihi esha gunamayi. Yes, this material nature is very difficult to overcome.
是的，这个物质的自然是很难跨越的。
But one who surrenders unto me can easily cross beyond it.
但是一个臣服于我的人可以轻易的跨越它。
And so Durga, and it's a house which is very difficult to get out of.
Durga 的意思是一个非常难以从中出来的房子。
This is the material world.
这就是物质世界。
Very difficult to get out of this house.
很难从这栋房子之中摆脱出来。
So material world is like the prison house.
因此，物质世界就好比是一座监狱。
Right? You go in the prison house, it's not easy to get out.
你一旦进了监狱，是很不容易出来的。
There were many kings who were all imprisoned by Jarasandha.
有很多的国王都被加尔桑的关进了监狱。
And it was not until Lord Krishna went with Bhima and Arjuna, they went to challenge Jarasandha.
直到主 Krishna 带着 Bhima 和 Arjuna 他们去挑战加尔桑的。
And Jarasandha would not fight Krishna because he said Krishna had run away from him. So he said Krishna is cowardly, so I'm not going to fight him.
但是加尔桑的不跟 Krishna 打仗，他认为 Krishna 从他身边逃走是一个胆小鬼，所以他说我不跟他作战。
Krishna is called, there's a name for Krishna who runs away from the battlefield. He is called Ranchor.
Krishna 有一个名字指的就是他从战场上逃跑，这个名字叫 Ranchor。
It's a nice name of Lord Krishna.
这个是主 Krishna 一个非常好的名字。
But actually it's not a nice name because it means he ran away from the battle. One who leaves the battlefield is Ranchor.
其实这也不是一个好名字，因为这意味着一个从战场上逃跑的人才叫 Ranchor。
But Krishna was performing a pastime.
但 Krishna 在上演一个逍遥时光。
Lord Krishna is not afraid of anyone.
主 Krishna 不害怕任何人。
He didn't have any reason to run away from the battlefield.
他没有任何的理由从战场上逃跑。
But he had another purpose in mind.
但是他的心里其实是有另外的一个目的。
And there was one demon king chasing him named Kala Yavana.
有一个恶魔的国王在追他，那个人的名字叫 Kala Yavana。
And so Krishna climbed up a mountain and went into a cave. And so Kala Yavana came after him.
Krishna 爬上一座山，进到一个山洞里 ，Kala Yavana 跟着他。
And this Kala Yavana king came into the cave, and then he saw a figure laying on the floor, and he thought it was Krishna, so he kicked him.
Kala Yavana 进到山洞里，然后看到地上躺着一个人，他以为这就是 Krishna， 于是他上去就踢了一脚。
But when the person who was laying on the floor was woken up, he opened his eyes, and from his eyes fire came out.
但当这个躺在地上的人醒来之后，睁开眼睛，他的眼睛里出现了火焰。
And he burned Kala Yavana to ashes.
他把 Kala Yavana 烧成了灰烬。
So this person who was laying on the floor, this was Muchikunda.
所以躺在地上的这个人是 Muchukunda。
Muchukunda.
Muchukunda。
He was a great Kshatriya king. He'd gone to fight for the demigods.
他是一位伟大的插雀国王，他去为半神人们打仗。
And then when finally Kartikeya came to take his place, and so the demigods gave a blessing to Muchukunda.
后来 Kartikeya 来取代了他的位置，所有的半神人都给了 Muchukunda 一个祝福。
So Muchukunda just said, the blessing I want is that I'm very tired. I want to have a good rest. Nobody should wake me up.
Muchukunda 说：“我想要的祝福就是我非常的疲倦， 我想好好的睡一觉，不应该有人来打扰我的睡
And
眠。
if anybody wakes me up, I should burn them to ashes.
如果有任何人把我吵醒了，我就要把它烧成灰烬。
So Muchikunda got this blessing from the demigod.
于是木竹坤的从半神人们那里得到了这个祝福。
And Krishna knew this.
Krishna 知道这个，
So he wanted Muchikunda to use his power to burn this Kalyavana to ashes.
所以 Krishna 就想让木竹坤的用他的力量把卡拉亚瓦那烧成灰烬。
And today Krishna is worshipped as Ranchor.
如今 Krishna 被作为 Ranchor 而受到崇拜，
There's a temple of Ranchor.
专门有一个 Ranchor 的庙。
Krishna is worshipped for his different mischievous activities.
Krishna 因为他的各种各样淘气的活动而受到了崇拜。
He is worshipped as Makanchor, the butter thief.
他被作为 Makanchor 受到崇拜，也就是偷黄油的贼。
And he is worshipped for stealing the clothes of the gopis.
而且他还因为偷盗牧牛姑娘 Gopi 们的衣服而受到崇拜。
Lord Krishna enjoys these wonderful pastimes with his devotees.
主 Krishna 非常享受跟他的奇妙的奉献者们一起做的这些逍遥时光。
So, Lord Krishna, he killed this demon Kalyavana, but he arranged Muchikunda to kill Yavana. He didn't kill him himself.
于是 Krishna 安排让木竹坤的杀了卡拉亚瓦的这个恶魔，他并没有亲自去杀他。
So we were explaining about Mother Durga, how Kamsa tried to kill her, but she rose up in this air and revealed her form as a demigoddess.
我们正在解释多尔个母亲康萨试图杀了他，但是呢，他升到了空中，显示了他是作为一个女半神人的形象。
And she is worshipped in the Vindhya mountains today.
如今他在温迪的山峦之中受到大家的崇拜。
So the worship of Mother Durga, of course this is done by people who are, this is part of Bengali culture. It's a tradition in Bengal that Bengali people will worship Durga.
在孟加拉，大家的传统就是去崇拜多尔个母亲。
Tamal Krishna Goswami explained one time he was working with a professor in the university who was doing studies about the worship of demigoddesses like Mother Durga.
Tamal Krishna Goswami 曾经有一次在大学里跟其他的教授一起研究关于女半神人的崇拜，而且就专门研究对于多尔个母亲的崇拜。
So this professor in the USA, he was going to come over to India to go to the Durga Puja. He wanted to see the Durga Puja. He wanted to go and be part of it and witness it, because he was doing things like translating Bengali poetry, and he was even writing poetry himself about Mother Durga.
当时这个教授是美国的，他要来印度，他想去参与这个多尔个普加，他想亲自的见证大家怎么去崇拜多尔个母亲，而且他在翻译一些关于多尔个母亲的诗歌，他自己也在写一些这方面的文献。
So Tamal Krishna Goswami had some friendship with this professor, and when the man told him that he was going to India, then Tamal Krishna Maharaj arranged, he said, when you go to India, he said, take a few days out to just go and visit our temple in Mayapur.
Tamal Krishna Goswami 跟这个教授是朋友，所以呢，他就建议这个教授，你反正要去印度了，不如花几天的时间，去访问一下我们在迈普的这个庙宇。
So the man went to the Durga Puja, and it was quite not a very pleasant experience for him.
于是这个人去看这个多尔个普加的节日，但是对于他来讲呢，不是特别令人愉悦的体验。
He saw most of the people were intoxicated, they'd been drinking alcohol.
他看到绝大多数的人都在服用麻醉品，都在喝酒，
And then they had this slaughtering of goats.
而且在屠杀山羊。
So it's, not the most pleasant thing to be around when people are cutting up the goats.
当有人在砍山羊的头的时候，你在旁边肯定觉得不是很舒服。
And the crowds are all in a lot of passion and, making a lot of noise, and they're drunk and they're behaving wildly.
而且人群充满了激情，他们都喝醉了酒，发出很多的噪音，他们以一种非常疯狂的方式行为举止。
And the man came there, and of course the people hadn't arranged anything for him. There was no facilities for him staying anywhere.
这个人去参加这样的活动，当然了，没有人为他做出什么准备，没有人给他做出什么安排，让他住在哪儿之类的。
But later, after he left that place and he came to Mayapur, he got a totally different experience.
他后来他离开了那个地方，他来到了玛雅普，他得到了完全不同的体验。
That he was well received and he was given a nice place to stay, and he saw the devotees were all sober. There was nobody intoxicated.
他得到了非常好的接待。然后呢，而且他看到奉献者们非常的清醒，没有任何的人服用麻醉品。
So it's unfortunate that things have they degrade because of the influence of the age of Kali. Although the worship of the devas is in the Vedic culture, it's not the Vedic culture that people should be all intoxicated.
现在世风日下，这是非常不幸的一件事情，但是并不是说在伟大的文献之中所推荐的这种对拜神人的崇拜，就是让所有的人去服用麻醉品。
So it's like the difference between goodness and passion in it.
所以这就是在善良属性、还有激情以及愚昧属性之间的区别。
The devotees are much more in the mode of goodness, and these other people were much more in passion in it.
奉献者更多的处在善良属性之中，而其他的这些人更多的处在激情和愚昧属性之中。
But as devotees, we always offer our respects to all these demigods because they are empowered representatives of the Supreme Lord.
作为奉献者，我们总是去非常尊敬所有的这些拜神人们，因为他们全都是至尊主的被赋予力量的代表。
Mother Durga is very, very powerful.
多尔个母亲非常非常有力量。
She is overseeing the creation, and the maintenance, and the destruction of the material world.
她直接监管物质世界的创造、维系和毁灭。
So certainly, we have to offer our respectful obeisances to her.
所以我们肯定应该恭恭敬敬地顶拜她。
And we should appreciate that she is doing such very nice service on behalf of the Lord.
而且我们应该非常的欣赏她在代表主做着这么好的服务。
Just like in Rajapur at our Jagannath temple, we have Simantini Devi.
就像在Rajapur， 在我们的加格纳芬庙里有 Simantini Devi。
So Simantini is another form of Durga.
Simantini 是多尔嘎的另外一个形象。
And she is also doing wonderful service, putting people into illusion.
她也在做非常奇妙的服务，把人们置于迷幻之中。
Bewildering people and allowing them to become attracted and enamored by the material world.
迷惑人们，让人们受到物质世界的迷惑和吸引。
But she was told by the Lord Gauranga, or she was told by the Lord himself that she has her own pure form in the spiritual world.
但是主Gauranga亲自告诉她在灵性世界有自己的原本的纯净的这种形象。
Where she's taking part in all the pastimes of the Lord.
在那个地方，她参与主的所有逍遥时光。
So, similarly, Mother Durga has also her pure form in the spiritual world.
所以多尔个母亲在灵性世界也有她自己的纯粹的形象。
Another festival which happened just yesterday was the appearance day of Madhva Acharya.
刚刚过的一个节日就是昨天 Madhvacharya 的显现日。
So Madhva Acharya, of course, he's the prominent guru in our line of disciplic succession.
Madhvacharya 是我们使徒传承之中的非常显著的一位 guru。
Our Vaishnava parampara is called the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya.
我们的这个使徒传承的名字叫做 Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya。
Lord Brahma is the Adi Guru. He was the original guru in the line.
主 Brahma 他是阿底咕噜，也就是我们传承之中的第一位咕噜。
Lord Brahma received the Vedic knowledge into his heart from the Supreme Lord Krishna.
主 Brahma 从至尊主 Krishna 那里，通过他的内心接受了灵性知识。
Tenhe Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. The Lord imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Lord Brahma.
主把伟大的知识传授给主 Brahma 的内心之中。
And so Lord Brahma is one of the four. There are four sampradayas, and one comes from Lord Brahma.
所以有4个不同的 Sampradaya 使徒传承，其中有一个就来自于主 Brahma。
Right? We have the Nimbaka Sampradaya, which comes from the four Kumaras.
我们有 Nimbaka Sampradaya， 这来自于苦马尔四兄弟。
And we have the Ramanuja Sampradaya, which comes from the Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune.
我们有 Ramanuja Acharya 的 Sampradaya， 这来自于幸运女神 Lakshmi。
And you have also Vishnu Swami's line, which comes from Lord Shiva.
我们还有 Vishnu Swami 的传承，这来自于主 Shiva。
But our line, which Lord Chaitanya took initiation in, is from Lord Brahma, and it came to Madhvacharya.
那么我们的这个使徒传承，也就是主 Chaitanya 他接受启迪的这个传系，是来自于 Brahma 的传系，然后接着传给了 Madhva Acharya。
So Madhvacharya, they have their temples in India, particularly in Udupi.
Madhva Acharya 在印度有庙宇，尤其是在乌杜比。
Udupi is a place on the coast in the state of Karnataka.
乌杜比是在卡纳塔卡邦的一个地方。
After Goa, you come to Karnataka and you come to places like Udupi.
You would go to places like Karnataka and places like Udupi.
After Goa,
After Goa，
Yeah.
在果阿之后，然后就到了这个卡纳塔卡邦，就到了，然后从那就可以去乌杜比。
so Madhvacharya, he was a powerful spiritual teacher. He preached the philosophy of Dvaitism.
Madhva Acharya 是一位非常有力量的灵性老师，他传播的哲学是堆塔主义。
And you can see Madhvacharya, he's always sitting he's got two fingers up indicating that there's the soul and there's the individual soul and the Paramatma, the super soul.
我们可以看到 Madhva Acharya 的姿势，他总是举着2个手指头，就是2个，就是有个体灵魂，还有 Paramatma 超灵。
You can see Madhvacharya, he'll be like this.
你们看到 Madhva Acharya 的这个姿势都是这样的。
So his philosophy is not Advaita, his philosophy is Dvaita.
因此他的哲学不是阿多维塔，他的哲学是堆塔。
Right? So Madhvacharya, he was blessed with finding a deity of Lord Krishna.
Madhva Acharya 受到祝福，他找到了一尊 Krishna 的神像。
There's the famous deity of Udupi Krishna. Krishna in the form of a cowherd.
那便是著名的五都比 Krishna 的形象，是 Krishna 作为一个牧牛童的样子。
What happened was there was a boat out at sea which was in difficulties.
发生了什么呢？有一艘船在海上，它遇到了困难。
But somehow Madhvacharya was able to help the boat to get free from the sandbank which it had become stuck on.
而 Madhva Acharya 无论如何，他想出办法帮助这艘船免于在沙滩上搁浅的处境。
So the captain of the ship wanted to repay Madhvacharya for his gratitude, and he asked Madhvacharya, he said, "Is there anything I could do for you? Could I give you anything to repay you?"
于是这艘船的船长为了出于他的感激之情，他就想给 Madhva Acharya 做出一些报偿。 他就说有没有什么我可以为您做的，有没有什么我可以给您的东西。
So Madhvacharya told the captain that I know on your ship there's a big lump of gopi chandan. You kindly give me that gopi chandan.
Madhvacharya 说我知道在你的船上有一大块这个 gopi chandan， 你可以就把这一大块 gopi chandan 送给我。
So the captain prepared the gopi chandan, they put it in a little ship and they sent the ship to the shore to give the gopi chandan to Madhvacharya.
于是船长把这个 gopi chandan 准备好放在一艘小船上，小船从大船上下来，把这个送给 Madhvacharya。
And then Madhvacharya broke the chandan and revealed that within the chandan there was a deity, Lord Krishna.
Madhvacharya 他打破了这个 gopi chandan， 从中显露出一尊 Krishna 的神像。
And this is the Krishna in the form of a cowherd boy.
这是 Krishna 以一个牧牛童的样子的神像。
And it said this deity was worshipped by Queen Rukmini. Whenever Lord Krishna was away from Dwarka, she would worship Krishna in the form of this deity.
据说这尊神像是如克米尼王后在多尔卡所崇拜的。每当主 Krishna 离开多尔卡的时候，如克米尼王后就崇拜这尊神像。
So this deity was found by Madhvacharya, and he established the worship of this deity.
这尊神像后来被 Madhvacharya 发现，而且他确立了对这个神像的崇拜。
And Madhvacharya was a spiritual master. He was preaching, and he established 12 temples there in Udupi.
Madhvacharya 是一位灵性导师，他在乌都比一共确立了12座庙宇。
So they have the system that one person is in charge of each of the 12. One person, each 12 temples, there's one person in charge of each temple. So they take turns to do the puja.
有一个体系，就是一共12个庙，每一个庙都有一个人负责，然后这些庙宇会轮流的照顾神像。
And when they do the puja, the guru will stay. He won't go out for preaching. He will stay in Udupi to do the puja, and they'll do the puja for 2 years.
每当临到一个庙的时候，这个庙的 guru 就会待在庙里，不出去传播，他就会连续的做 puja， 做2年的时间。
And that time, all the others will go out. They'll travel out and do preaching work.
在那个时候，其他庙的这些 guru， 其他的这些奉献者就会去四处旅行，做传播的工作。
And so they will rotate their worship. It will come to them after 22 years. They'll get the turn. It will be their turn to do the puja for 2 years.
所以他们就会轮流，每个人等待22年的时间，就会轮到自己做2年的服务。
So Madhvacharya, he established this system.
Madhvacharya 确立了这个体系。
Madhvacharya, when he was preaching his philosophy of dualism, that there's not one, because before Madhvacharya was Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya was teaching Advaita, that there's only one, Advaita, oneness, it's only one, that there's no soul and super, there's only the Brahman, where everyone is simply Brahman, there's no question of Jiva and Paramatma. He said, no, it's only one.
Madhvacharya 他传播的这个哲学的理论是2元论，而在他之前Shankaracharya 传播的这个哲学的理论是 Advaita 是1元论。在 Advaita 在这个Advaita 这个Shankaracharya 的理论之中，没有个体灵魂和超灵的区别，所有的一切全都是一，所有的一切都是 Brahman， 每个人都是 Brahman， 没有任何个体灵魂和超灵。
Shankaracharya took from the Vedas the statement Sarvam Kauvidam Brahma, that everything is Brahman.
Shankaracharya 引述来自于伟大经典的话，说所有的一切都是 Brahman。
I am Brahman and you are Brahman, and this way we're all God.
我是 Brahman， 你也是 Brahman， 这样我们所有的人都是神。
So this was Shankaracharya's teaching, but Madhvacharya was teaching Vaishnava that we're the servant of the Supreme Lord.
这是Shankaracharya的教导，而 Madhvacharya 他的教导是 Vaishnava 的教导，我们所有的人都是神的仆人。
So there was opposition, there was always debates between the followers of Shankaracharya and the followers of the Madhvacharya.
因此就会有反对， 在尚卡阿查尔的追随者和玛德瓦查尔的追随者之间总会有辩论。
And at one point, Madhvacharya went to the Himalayas. He thought that I will confirm my teachings, my realization. I'm going to the Himalayas and I'm going to find Srila Vyasadeva.
曾经有一度，玛德瓦查尔想，我要确证一下我的这个理论，我的哲学，我要去喜马拉雅山，我要去找 Vyasadeva。
And Madhvacharya went there. He went into the Himalayas and he was able to go into the higher regions of the Himalayas and he was able to meet with Srila Vyasadeva.
玛德瓦查尔去了喜马拉雅山，他去了喜马拉雅山更高的山路，最终他见到了 Srila Vyasadeva。
And Madhvacharya told Srila Vyasadeva what he was preaching and Vyasadeva said, yes, very good. Please continue, go back and continue this preaching.
玛德瓦查尔跟 Vyasadeva 讲了他的传播的这个理论，然后呢 Vyasadeva 说很好，你可以回去继续你的传播。
So you can see our line of disciplic succession is like that it's Brahma, Narada, Vyas, and then from Vyas, Madhvacharya.
所以大家可以看到我们的使徒传承，先有 Brahma， 然后 Narada， 然后是 Vyas， 在 Vyas 之后是 Madhvacharya。
So sometimes the other sampradayas they say, oh, this is not strict parampara, there's a break here in the parampara.
有的时候其他的这个使徒传承会攻击我们说这个不是非常正确的 parampara， 你们在这个 parampara 之中有一个中断。
But anyway, this is our line of disciplic succession.
但无论如何，这就是我们的使徒传承。
So Srila Madhvacharya, he preached this philosophy of dualism, that the living entity is a servant of the Supreme Lord.
所以玛德瓦查尔他传播的是这种二元论，个体的生物是至尊主的仆人。
And he established the worship of this Krishna deity in Udupi.
而且他确立了在乌都比的 Krishna 的神像的崇拜。
So Lord Chaitanya went to Udupi. When he was traveling around South India, he went there to Udupi.
主Chaitanya在南印度旅行的时候去了乌都比。
But he was not very satisfied with what he found there.
但是他在那儿发现的情况让他并不是十分的满意。
He discussed with the people there about what was the goal of their practice, what were they trying to achieve.
然后他对于当地的人他们所进行的修行想要努力达到的目标感觉到厌恶。
And they were simply interested for liberation.
因为他们只对于得到解脱有兴趣。
And they simply wanted to get rid of all the problems of the material life.
他们只想摆脱物质生活的所有问题。
So they do a lot of ritualistic activities to destroy any faults which may be there.
所以大家做很多的仪式典礼的活动，就是为了消除有可能出现的错误。
And even down to the present time, down to today, it's all which goes on. If you go to the Madhvacharya temples and so on, you'll see they're simply engaged in these different rituals.
即使是如今，他们还是这个样子。如果你们如今去Madhvacharya 的这些庙，会发现他们还只是从事于这些仪式的活动。
Oh, you have this fault. Oh, you don't have a child. Oh, then you do this ritual and this will get you the child. You have your problem and you're not making much money in your career. Okay, we'll do a ritual for you to help you to make money.
你有这个错误，我们来补偿一下。你没有孩子，我们给你做一个仪式，你就有孩子了。你在你的职业生涯之中挣不到多少钱，我们给你举行一个仪式，你就可以赚很多的钱。
So like this, they do different rituals for people.
这样呢，他们就为人们做各种不同的仪式。
But Lord Chaitanya was not happy to see this.
但是主宰他也看到这一切，并不高兴。
Now Lord Chaitanya, he had taken initiation in the line coming through Madhvacharya.
主宰他呢，他是在来自于 Madhvacharya 的这个传承之中接受的启迪。
Why did he take initiation in that line?
他为什么要在这个传承之中接受启迪呢？
It was because of the presence of Madhavendra Puri.
就是因为有 Madhavendra Puri 的临在。
Madhavendra Puri came in the line after Madhvacharya.
Madhavendra Puri 是在 Madhavacharya 之后进入我们的使
But
徒传
it
承
was
的。
Madhavendra Puri who brought into the line of disciplic succession the worship of the Lord in Madhurya Ras.
是 Madhavendra Puri 为我们的这个使徒传承引介了对于主在 Madhurya Ras 之中的崇拜。
It was Madhavendra Puri who was experiencing the mode of separation from Krishna.
是 Madhavendra Puri 展示了跟 Krishna 分离的情感。
So Lord Chaitanya took initiation in the line because of Madhavendra Puri.
主Chaitanya 接受我们这个传承，是因为这个传承之中有 Madhavendra Puri 的显现。
That he revealed the higher aspects of the teachings of this philosophy.
他揭示了我们这个使徒传承的哲学的最高级的层面。
Lord Chaitanya wants to experience love of God. He wants to experience the highest principle of religion.
主Chaitanya想体验对手神的爱，他想体验宗教的最高原则。
We're not just speaking about the higher taste, we're speaking about the highest taste.
我们谈的不仅仅是更高的品味，我们谈论的是最高级的品味。
The highest taste is to develop love of God.
最高级的品味是发展对手神的爱。
So Madhavendra Puri was revealing how to achieve that love of God.
Madhavendra Puri 揭示如何才能够达到这种对神的爱。
And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation.
这是为什么主Chaitanya Mahaprabhu接受了这个传承之中的启迪。
But there were also some good things in that line of disciplic succession.
在这个使徒传承之中，也有一些好的方面。
The two good things which came from the line of Madhvacharya, one was the complete refutal of Mayavada philosophy.
来自于 Madhvacharya 使徒传承之中两件非常好的事情，一件就是说完全的拒绝 Mayavada 哲学。
Even today, the Madhvacharya line, they have Sanskrit colleges in South India, and they give a free education. You can go and study Sanskrit between the age of 12 up to 22. The young men can go and study Sanskrit, and they're taught how to defeat the Mayavada philosophy.
直到如今，如果你去 Madhvacharya 传承之中的这个南印度这些庙，他们有免费的梵文课程。如果你是12岁到22岁之间，就可以去学习这些梵文的课程，为的是击败 Mayavada 哲学。
So this was one of the important points which came from the teachings of Madhvacharya.
这就是来自于 Madhvacharya 教导之中的一个重要方面。
How to defeat Mayavada.
如何击败 Mayavada？
Indeed, Prabhupada gave us his pranam mantra that he's preaching the Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. He's preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Western world to defeat the Mayavada, the impersonalism of Mayavada.
施勒帕帕德的顶拜祷文之中就这样说到，他去西方国家传播主Chaitanya的讯息，击败非人格主义 Mayavada。
Impersonalism and voidism.
非人格主义还有虚无主义。
So that the Mayavadas and the Buddhists, these people are promoting that kind of philosophy.
因此 Mayavada 还有佛教徒，他们推崇的是这种类型的哲学。
We have to be able to defeat their philosophy.
我们必须能够击败他们的哲学。
So they educate people very thoroughly in the Sanskrit language and all the arguments against these philosophies.
他们会在对人们的就是这种梵文的教育之中，非常详尽地告诉大家怎么去击败 Mayavada 的哲学。他们会教大家这样的知识。
And so they have many young men all going to college. They go and study for 10 years. They study all of this.
所以有很多的年轻人去上他们的学校，10年学习这些。
And then after they study, then they can go and become a priest, or they can also teach.
学完之后，他们可以成为技师，他们也可以成为老师去教别人。
So that one principle came from Madhvacharya. The other principle which came from Madhvacharya's line is the worship of the deity as a person.
这是来自于玛达瓦查尔传承的一个教导。另外一个来自于玛达瓦查尔传承的教导，就是说把神像当成一个人来崇拜。
Often, people may put the form of the Lord here, but they don't recognize the form of the Lord is actually a person.
通常人们会把神的形象放在这里，主的形象放在这里，但是他们并不把它当做一个人来崇拜。
They simply think, oh, it's just a statue.
他们仅仅想着这是一尊雕像。
So that is not deity worship.
那并不是神像崇拜。
Deity worship is to understand the Lord is personally present in the form of the deity.
神像崇拜意味着了解到主亲身临在于神像的形象之内。
We have to worship the deity.
我们必须要崇拜神像。
The Lord is personally present there.
主亲身的临在于那里。
Sometimes people they have the deity and they're simply whenever they eat something then they offer food to the deity.
有的时候人们他们崇拜神像，就是每当要吃东西了，就把这个东西给神像供奉一下。
Or they don't worship the deity when they don't feel like it.
或者是他们觉得不想崇拜，就不崇拜神像。
And they don't change the clothing regularly.
而且他们并没有规律的去给神像换衣服。
And they don't bathe the deity regularly.
他们也不有规律的给神像沐浴。
So that's not proper deity worship.
这并不是恰当的神像崇拜。
But Madhvacharya in the temple in Udupi, they're worshipping the deity of Lord Krishna there in a very, very high standard.
但是在乌都比玛德查尔的传承之中的庙宇，他们是以非常高的标准来崇拜神像的。
So Lord Chaitanya appreciated their worship of the deity.
所以主宰他们非常欣赏他们对神像的崇拜。
So these two elements came from the line of Madhvacharya.
有这两个元素来自于玛德查尔的传承。
So temples of Madhvacharya are there in different cities around India. You can see.
那么我们可以看到，在印度的不同地方都有玛德瓦查尔他们的庙，有神像。
It was just a couple of years ago, we celebrated the 1000th anniversary of the appearance of Ramanujacharya.
就在几年前，我们刚刚庆祝了 Ramanuja Acharya 显现1000年。
So Madhvacharya is also very prominent.
Madhvacharya 也非常的显著。
Okay. So any questions?
请问大家有什么问题吗？
那个多个母亲，据说她是一位 Vaishnava 奎川的奉献者。我们说应该崇拜奎川的奉献者。那么我想问一下，那些多个母亲的崇拜者，他们通过崇拜奎川的奉献者，能不能得到一些灵性的好处呢？
It is said that Mother Durga is a Vaishnavi, and usually we can worship the Vaishnavas or Vaishnavis, we can get some benefits. So those Mother Durga's worshippers, by their worship to Mother Durga, can they get some benefits, spiritual benefits?
Well, if they're worshipping Mother Durga, then the advantage is that they're on the Vedic path.
如果他们崇拜多少个母亲的话，好处是他们还处在伟达的这个道路上。
And the benefit is that, one day they may come to the higher platform.
好处是终于有一天他们可以达到更高的层
They
面。
may understand that the benefit of the worship of Durga is material and limited and temporary.
他们会了解到，你只崇拜多少个母亲所得到的好处是非常短暂的，而且是物质的。
And they would like to get some eternal benefit, then they will come to the higher platform.
如果他们想得到永恒的好处的话，他们就会达到更高的层面。
So, worship of these demigods is part of the Vedic culture.
因此，崇拜这些拜神人是伟达文化的一部分。
But that's for material benefit.
但那个都是为了物质的好处，
Material prosperity, material well-being.
物质的繁荣、物质的福祉。
And generally that's what most people think about.
一般来讲，这也是人们所想的。
You know, who's thinking about their spiritual benefit? We all want to just have material benefit.
谁会总是想着灵性的好处呢？我们都想要的是物质的好处。
What's the good of having the spiritual benefit if you don't have any material facilities?
如果要是没有任何物质的便利条件，灵性的好处有什么用处呢？
So that's what most people think.
这是绝大多数人的想法。
So it takes some purification to understand that there's a higher benefit.
所以需要一些净化，才能够让人们了解到还有更高的好处。
Rajan?
这个桑卡尔查呀来拿瓦对的时候，虽然他的贝因格被马哈帕布给逐出了拿瓦对，所以他保护这个拿瓦对。但是我看到在马雅坡有人崇拜多尔干女神，所以我们以前认为马雅坡是一个纯粹的桑提尔他的净土，为什么还有崇拜多尔干母亲，还有卖鱼卖肉？所以我们来的时候都特别感到郁闷，这是什么原因？应该圣地没有这样的，应该是纯粹的 bhakti。
When Shankaracharya came to Navadvip, he was chased away by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to protect the Navadvip Dham. But later on we can find out when we came to Mayapur, we saw some people there worshipping Mother Durga. And also we saw this place, some people are selling meat, fish and eggs. Before we were thinking this place is the pure land of Sankirtan. But when we saw this, we feel depressed. Why is it like this?
Well, yes, but we have to understand not everybody's in the holy dham. Although they may be living around here, it doesn't mean that they're actually in the holy dham. They don't actually see the holy dham.
我们要明白到，不是每一个人都在神圣的 Dham。虽然表面上看起来他们都住在这里，但是并不是每一个人他们都在神圣的 Dham。
The dham is covered for them by some illusion.
Dham 是对于他们来讲 ，Dham 被覆盖了。
So they cannot understand what is this holy place.
所以他们并不了解这个是一处圣地。
Just like we know, there are many people who are not in this Vedic culture, not following the Vedic culture. They're from outside the Vedic culture. There's Islamic people. There's the Christian people. You know, they don't consider anything special about this place.
我们知道有一些人并不来自于伟大的文化，他们是来自于穆斯林的背景或者是基督教的背景，他们不觉得这个地方是有什么特别的意义。
They may be living here, but it's just some place on the map. For them, it's not a holy place.
他们可能只是住在这里而已，对于他们来讲只是地图上的一个地点，他们并不觉得这是一处圣地。
They do not know the actual nature of this place.
他们并不了解这个地方的实际的灵性本质，
So they're not actually in the holy place.
所以他们并不真正的在圣地。
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes, you know, sometimes like at Jagannath Mandir, sometimes people were stealing some things and Lord Jagannath comes to them in a dream and threatens them, and then they realize, you know, they've done something very wrong.
有的时候会发生这样的情况，有人去加格纳特曼迪偷一些东西，然后加格纳到他们的梦里告诉他们，然后他们就意识到自己做了一件非常严重的错误的事情。
And so those kind of incidents are there to show that this is not an ordinary place, but it doesn't happen to everyone.
有这样的事情发生，这就是表明这里并不是一个普通的地方，但这并不是发生在每一个人身上。
You want to enter into the holy dham, there has to be the change of consciousness.
我们想要进入神圣的 Dham 之中，必须要有知觉上的改变。
You're not going to see the whole. It's not that everyone can see the holy dham.
不是说每一个人都可以看到神圣的 Dham。
But we cannot expect that everyone in this place is going to be very, very spiritual.
所以我们不能指望着这个地方每一个人都充满了灵性的知觉。
people may do things like eating meat and so on, or fish.
所以这个地方有人会做吃肉或者是吃鱼的事情。
These things go on.
有这样的情况存在。
The worship of deities, different goddesses, the worship of the different demigods, that's the culture here.
崇拜各种不同的神像，崇拜女神，其实是这个地方的人们的文化的一部分。
And we can read how at the times of Lord Chaitanya's appearance here in Mayapur and Bengal here, it was everywhere. The worship of demigods and the performance of ritualistic activities, karma kandi activities. There was no devotion.
我们可以读到，在朱恰滩的马哈花布他显现的时候，在这个地方，在孟加拉，在玛雅普有很多的人，他们都在崇拜各种不同的拜神人，而且呢，他们没有任何的奉爱之心。
There was very, very few devotees.
只有很少数的奉献者。
So Advaita Acharya himself felt himself unable to do anything because he was the only one, practically.
对塔查尔也觉得自己无能为力，什么也做不了，几乎他就是孤单的一个人。
So he prayed for for Krishna to come himself.
因此他祈祷 Krishna 本人亲自来。
So we see that devotees, even 500 years ago, there were not very many devotees.
我们可以看到，即使是在500年之前，也没有多少奉献者。
And even today, not everybody's devotee.
即使是如今，也不是每一个人都是奉献者。
Everywhere there's meat eating.
到处都有人吃肉。
I think something like maybe 90% of the people in India today are all eating non-vegetarian food.
我想应该是有一个统计数据表明，在印度有90%的人都在吃非素食。
It's very rare people are strict vegetarian.
人们能够成为严格的素食者，这是一件非常罕见的事情。
And then so much intoxication.
还有很多的人服用麻醉品、赌博。
So illicit sex is also going on everywhere.
而且所有的地方都有人做非法性行为。
So to expect people to live to a high standard of devotion is very rare.
让人们过上非常高标准的奉爱生活，这是很罕见的。
Maharaj, I have one question. I think in Ganga Devi, she is very pure devotee of God.
Who?
Ganga Devi.
Ganga.
She is a pure devotee of the Lord. But do you think Tulsi Devi and Ganga Devi is equal, more important to the Lord? And outside people, they thinking Ganga Devi is a demigod. Have you mentioned that?
Ganga Devi is who?
They're thinking about Ganga Devi is demigod. They're thinking she is pure devotee of the Lord. And she is equal to Tulsi Devi because they all dear to the Lord.
因为他们两人都是非常受到主的真爱的。
You change the subject a lot, my
But I have
goodness.
a long in my heart for a long time.
So we're talking about Durga and you bring up I know it's not Durga. We were talking about Durga, but you brought up Ganga and told me.
现在你看到了刚刚的东西，你改变了话题。
You got it? Translate? Yeah?
他就是马格瓦蒂玛特吉改变了话题。古鲁马哈说，我们一直在谈论的是多尔嘎，现在你改变了话题，开始谈论刚嘎还有周喜。
那我接着问他那个。
No, wait. 我们还没回答他的问题。Then,
We didn't answer a question yet.
It's
late.
Well, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says that the Lord comes in the Kali Yuga in the form of wood and in the form of water.
在简单的查尔塔姆他这个里边提到主在卡利优嘎以木头还有水的形式降
So in
临。
the form of wood, he is the Lord Jagannath,
以木头的形式，他就是主加格纳；
and in the form of water is Mother Ganga.
以水的形式，他就是恒河母亲。
And so that's what Chaitanya Charitamrita says.
这是Chaitanya Charitamrita 所提到的。
But we can also, there were great devotees of Mother Ganga, people like Pundarik Vijayanidhi and Kolaveka Sridhar. They were both very great devotees of Mother Ganga.
我们看到有非常伟大的恒河母亲的奉献者，比如说 Pundarik Vijayanidhi 还有 Kolaveka Sridhar， 他们两位都是Ganga 恒河母亲的非常伟大的奉献者。
Kolaveka Sridhar would always spend half of his income, whatever he earned, he must spend it to worship Mother Ganga.
Kolaveka Sridhar 他无论挣多少钱，他都把一半的钱用于就是花在崇拜恒河母亲上。
And Pundarik Vijayanidhi would never take bath in the Ganga. He would only come and offer obeisances to Mother Ganga.
Pundarik Vijayanidhi 他从来不会在恒河之中沐浴，他只是在河边上顶拜。
And he lamented whenever he saw people taking bath in the Ganga and using soap and things like that. He thought, oh, it's so nasty that they're polluting the water of the Ganges with their soap.
每当 Pundarik Vijayanidhi 看到人们用肥皂在恒河里沐浴的时候，他都感觉到非常难过。他觉得这些人是在用他们的肥皂污染恒河。
So, of course, in Hindu culture, people do worship Ganga to get material benefit.
当然，在印度的传统之中，人们崇拜恒河是为了得到物质的好处。
But actually, we can worship Ganga in the mood of pure devotion.
但其实我们可以以纯粹的奉爱之心去崇拜恒河。
You can worship Mother Ganga just as you worship Mother Tulsi to give you devotion for Lord Krishna.
你可以以崇拜通信母亲的方式去崇拜恒河母亲，为的是得到对主 Krishna 的纯粹的奉爱之情。
So you can worship Ganga. But generally, people do worship Ganga. They think of Mother Ganga just something to get material blessings.
不过，一般人们会以为崇拜恒河母亲就是为了得到物质的好处、物质的祝福。
They get rid of their sins. They go to take bath in the Ganga to get rid of their sins.
他们去恒河里沐浴，为的就是消除自己的罪恶，
So they can go on sinning.
这样可以继续作恶。
But also the people taking bath in the Ganga, and Ganga will release the pain.
但奉献者们去恒河沐浴，恒河也会减少他们的痛苦。
Yes, it can destroy sinful reactions.
是的，这个是可以消除罪恶的反应的，
But after a long time,
但是要过很长的时间之后，
you have to bathe many times.
你要沐浴很多次。
But the pure devotee can immediately change their heart.
但是，一位纯粹奉献者可以立刻改变你的内心。
And also, on Krishna Day, we say the Ugra Krishna Day should not be worshipped by Grihastha or any other person, only temple. Then they say it's yoga, Krishna or other kind of you can worship in your house. But in the temple you can worship. Because only brahmachari can worship non-Krishna. Then in Grihastha house should be another kind of Krishna Day. Because they say will get reaction. They do
好
not
像有个问题是个评论，就是说，只有在庙里可以崇拜乌格尼星的那位，在居士的家里可以崇拜优格尼星的那位，或者纯尼星的那位的其他的形象。这真的，
They mention like that.
Well,
We should worship the happy mood Krishna Day.
Okay.
Or pacify mood,
Yeah.
not Ugra. Because if not worship properly, you also get reaction. Like the temple in South India, they don't worship properly, and the whole villages become ghost town.
他说，巴格瓦提曼特吉说，如果要是在家里呢，只能崇拜纯子星的那位的非常平和的形象；如果要是不这样做的话，就会招致很多的罪恶反应，甚至是整个村子都会成为一个鬼城。
Okay.
好的。
Yes?
刚才他说的这个，反正我一点没听懂啊。他那个反正名字我更不懂，名字我一个没记住。我先是他那个问题的，刚才那个多尔感女神也是一个奉献者，主的奉献者。我们这次8第3里边的考试题有一个崇拜奉献者比崇拜主更好。刚才您说 印度有很多，是90%是非素食，我对这点非常不理解，而且我这次我这个，因为很多的梵文我不懂，我也不会写，我也听。你像刚才说，我一点我也听不明白，我写我更不会。我今天面临的一个要补考，但是我这个补考我想弃绝了，我不补考了，因为我不会，很多梵文知识我不会。我想让您能不同意我这个学，今天不补考。
The first part and the second part, I don't know any relationship. I just relate as it is. She said during your class and during her question part, there's so many Sanskrit terms, Sanskrit terminology are mentioned. I don't know any one of them. Also, I don't understand anything about them. And in your class, you mentioned Durga Devi. She is also a devotee. And in our Bhakti Sastri class, we learned that worshipping the devotees of the Lord is higher than worshipping the Lord Himself. And also today afternoon, I need to take a re-examination. But I'm feeling there are so many Sanskrit things I don't understand. So I want to have your permission that I give up this opportunity. I don't take exam anymore.
No. 我不给你这个。
I don't give you this permission. We already reprinted a new set of just.
你需要参加考试。
You must take part in the exam.
您再听我说啊，昨天那个我去送那个贾丫的，他昨天走了，他跟我说，我们都是那个电子版的书。电子版的书和他们那个书完全不一样，所以说我都按电子版那个答案答的，结果完全和那个很多完全不一样，全都是错误，所以说我没有办法回答，我要回答我还是错误，我考试我必须要拒绝，要不然我还是错误，我没有办法。因为我没有书。She
said she was discussing with Jayada yesterday, and she found out that the e-book she has completely different than the real book. So that is not true. So that's why she said all the answers she got from by reading the e-book is completely wrong. So therefore, she cannot take part in the exam. But every class I mentioned, this is going to be examined, and then I give the correct answer. 当我讲课的时候说了这道题就是要考的，然后正确的答案是什么？
可是就是撒旦呐，我从刚起题的那天开始我就知道撒旦呐是规范学习，但是那个发的那卷子是撒旦呐，我这个题就这个我琢磨好长时间，撒旦呐，我说到底一样不一样？而且他写的字母都不一样，两个哒 A。这是一个，完了是搭 H， 因为我那英文。
She said last exam she was confused because usually she was reading in the E form mentioned this is a sadhana, but then when we give exam papers and it's mentioned please give definition of sadhana, then she said oh these are two things, so I cannot answer this question.
真的我一点都不懂这个，而且我一看
这个问题您已经问过我已经告诉您这俩是一样的了。
不是光这一个不一样，这简单的
嘛，
这是简单的我记住了，但是不简单的我一点记不住。平时我一说那我得现琢磨，这到底是哪个什么？对我来说一片空白，我特别的困惑对这个。我真的拒绝这个，但是我这作文我接着考。
She said I want to renounce this exam.
你应该不能拒绝。
You cannot renounce this
exam. 你应该参加。
那我一直都没有。
我们可以告诉你梵文是什么意思。
We can tell you what is the meaning of the Sanskrit term. She already got all the answers. It's only
其他的奉献者都没问题，为什么只有你有问题
All the other devotees has no problem. Why only you have?
我跟你说啊，我连医康这3个字我都不知道什么意思翻译过来。我真的我很多的朋友。
你可以问老师，他可以告诉你。
You can ask the teacher; she can tell you.
If you don't know the meaning of the 3 characters, you ask the teacher. The teacher will tell you what it means.
如果你不知道这3个字是什么意思，你可以问老师，然后呢，老师会告诉你这是什么意思。
老师忙死了，我这下课问点东西，他妈妈就不干。哎呀，他讲3小时呢，快着把说啥呀？
She said, I am teaching. Every time I ask you a question, no question.
那个学了泡泡在要理中说，人分2种，一个是奉献者，一个是恶魔。然后在我们在中国传教的时候，有人就提出个挑战，他提了3个问题：一，佛教徒是恶魔还是奉献者？2，非人格主义者是恶魔还是奉献者？3，你说的奉献者是除了外萨瓦奉献者之外，所有人都是恶魔吗？3个问题。
In one of Srila Prabhupada's purport, it is mentioned there are 2 kinds of people. One category is devotees, another category is the demons. So during our preaching process, someone has 3 questions. The first question is, what about the Buddhists? The Buddhists are considered as demons, and then the Buddhists, they are considered as devotees or they are considered as demons. The second is the impersonalists. They are considered as devotees or they are considered as demons. And third, only the Vaishnavas are considered as devotees, and everyone else are considered as demons.
Well, the term is not devotee. When it said 2 kinds of people, it doesn't say devotee or demon. It says divine or godly or atheist or materialistic. Devi Sampad, Asurik Sampad. So you take the word, Devi Sampad, it doesn't mean devotee. It means godly, who has good qualities.
那么在这个要旨之中，其实并没有说一类是奉献者，另外一类是恶魔。他的用的这个词梵文词是 Devi Sampad， 还有 Asurik Sampad。Devi 指的就是说有神性品质的人。
但是他们在巴格巴吉塔第4章的要旨中，泡泡就提到有2种人，奉献者和恶魔。他们拿这个来问我，他没有说您说的那个，他就是奉献者和恶魔。学了泡泡。
Well, then you have to consider which particular quality.
你要考虑一下，到底是哪种特定的品质。
In some cases, just like a Buddhist person, they're vegetarian. They say, "Oh, it's very good."
就像是佛教徒，他们都是素食者，我们会认为这非常好。
And Buddhist people, they're also compassionate and they want to be kind to people.
佛教的人士也充满了怜悯之心，他们对人都非常的友善。
They like to do what's it called? Volunteer work. What do they call?
他们做一些志愿的活动、慈善活动、
义工 volunteer work.
自愿的那种活动。
Volunteer, they'll do social work, help people. So that's good.
他们做一些社会工作，这是好事儿。
But if they say there's no God, then they say that's not good.
但当他们说没有神的时候，我们说这个不是一件好事儿。
So you have to, you can't just, it's not, he's a demon. Everybody who's a devotee, because they chant Hare, they must be good. Devotees also have right qualities.
所以不能说这些人就是恶魔，这些人就是好的，说奉献者这都是好的，奉献者唱诵这是好的，但奉献者身上也有一些坏的品质。
Devotees can be lazy.
奉献者可以很懒惰。
They can argue and fight with each other.
而且还会互相的争执，互相吵架。
So we cannot say everything about devotees is good.
我们不能说奉献者身上所有的一切都是好的。
And the same way we don't say everything about these people is bad.
而且我们也不能说其他人身上所有的一切都是坏的。
You have to consider what particular aspect you're talking about.
我们要考虑一下，我们谈论的是到底什么样特定的方面。
I have a question, Linda. In one of your lectures, you said that it is very difficult to use our Vaishnava preaching in the academic circle, in the universities, in the colleges.
很难的在 在这个学术领域里的
And you gave an example, like Krishna Swami Maharaj, like Siddhananda Maharaj. But we know another example, Dhruta Prabhu.
但是我们有知道另外一个
And
例子，
I think he was successful in this
我想
kind
他
of
在这方
activity.
面的这个活动是成功的。
He tried to bring the Vaishnava knowledge in the
他把
academic
这个
society.
Vaishnava 的知识带入学术的社团之中。
And my question is, what is the difference between these examples? And can we
在
use
这些例子
the
之间有什
Vaishnava
么区
preaching
别？
in
我
the
们能不能把
academic
Vaishnava
society
的
or
用在这些学术领域的范畴
it
之
is
中？
difficult at all?
还是说是困难还是不困难？
Last part, last sentence. Can we utilize the Vaishnava preaching into the circle of the academic
society.
Yes.
Is that possible?
You can try.
你可以试试，
It's very specialized.
非常特殊的，
You have to be an academic.
你必须要有学术方面的特质。
That's why people were doing the PhD.
这是为什么人们他们会上这个博士学位？
They wanted to get recognition and to be established in that kind of circle.
他们想先在这种圈子里就是被确立起来，得到认可。
So you can't just go there and think you can just go and talk in the academic circles if you're not an academic person yourself.
如果你自己不是一个学术人士，你不能就是说走到学术人士的圈子里，然后就跟他们指手画脚。
So you have to work, you have to, just like Swarup Damodar, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj was a scientist, and he graduated, had his PhD in science, and so he could go to scientific conferences and he would talk to the scientists.
就像是 Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj，他本身就是就是他有这个博士学位，他自己就是一个科学家，因此他可以去科学家的圈子里去跟他们谈论。
And so Prabhupada appreciated that he was talking to the scientists and presenting Krishna consciousness.
高华非常欣赏这一点，这样你就可以把 Krishna 知觉呈现给那些科学家们。
And Prabhupada encouraged them to make the Bhaktivedanta Institute, that they would be specialized preachers who could cultivate these people in academic circles.
而且帕布还鼓励大家成立巴基维丹的学院，这样的话就可以培养一些人专门在学术的领域里给别人传播。
But the people who are doing that work, they have to be qualified.
但是做这项工作的人必须要有资格，
They have to be in the, some kind of qualification.
他们应该有某种资格，
Then they can present Krishna consciousness.
这样才可以呈现 Krishna 知觉的哲学。
But if you don't know anything, if you haven't got any education in that line, even though you may be a devotee, you won't be able to present to the scholars.
但是如果你在这方面没有受到任何的训练，你也没有什么知识的话，你即使是一个奉献者，你也没有办法去跟那些学者们去讲。
You have to work in that line. You have to publish papers. You have to publish papers, and you have to attend conferences, scientific conferences, and good question, gradually get some recognition.
你应该在这方面做出努力，比如说你要去发表论文，你要参加一些学术性的研讨会，然后逐渐得到大家的认可，
Then they can recognize you.
然后他们就可以认可你。
OK，就是您刚刚讲的关于很多关于玛雅瓦蒂的事情，中国也有很多玛雅瓦蒂的这个哲学。我记得以前听课讲过，就是一个外师那瓦意味着一个外师那就意味着他应该去批评和谴责那些玛雅瓦蒂们，所以在面对一些玛雅瓦蒂的时候，我们应该是以想要去 辩论击败他们，还是说更多的是想要通过我们的服务去吸引他们？哪一个是在传播的过程中更为主要的一种方法？你认为？
In China, we also have many Mayavadis. It is mentioned that usually we should condemn the Mayavadis, we should defeat the Mayavadis. But when we're really face to face, we're confronting the Mayavadis, we should raise arguments to try to defeat them, or we try to just move them and take them.
Well, it's very difficult to defeat the Mayavadis. People generally in the Kali Yuga, they won't admit they're wrong.
击败玛雅瓦蒂们是很难的一件事情。一般在卡利优格，人们不会承认自己犯了错误。
So you can spend a lot of time arguing with them, you just make them more angry.
你可以花很多的时间跟他们去争辩，但只能是让他们更生气而已。
So we try to chant the holy name and distribute the sadam and
所以我们努力的让他们去唱诵圣名，给他们派发菩萨的。
hope that will gradually change their heart.
我们希望这样可以逐渐的改变他们的内心。
But to defeat them philosophically, you have to be very expert. It's not a very easy thing to do.
但是如果要是想从哲学上击败他们的话，你必须要成为一个专家，这不是一件很容易的事情。
Even you may defeat them, you may think you've defeated them, they won't accept they're being defeated.
即使你以为你已经击败了他们，但是他们不接受他们被击败了。
So you can waste a lot of time.
你可以浪费很多的时间。塔湾达西，顶外塔鲁尼。顶拜公路朱彩堪的选择了我们这个使徒传系的原因，是因为我们这个传系在对主的崇拜更规范，从而更具有情感吗？ The basis is true. Why Lord Chaitanya chose our disciplic succession? I think the reason is because our disciplic succession will have more regulated and more emotional worship to the Lord. Is that true?
Well, I said Lord Chaitanya chose the disciplic succession because it came through Madhavendra Puri.
我提到，之所以朱夏滩的马哈帕布选择我们这个使徒传承，是因为我们这里有 Madhavendra Puri 的显现。
And Madhavendra Puri brought the seed of love of God into the disciplic succession.
Madhavendra Puri 把对神的爱的种子带入了我们的使徒传承之中。
There was no feeling of love of God before Madhavendra Puri.
在 Madhavendra Puri 之前，没有对神的爱。
Madhavendra Puri brought that mood. They showed that mood to worship the Lord in that mood of loving devotion in the mood of Madhurya Rasa.
Madhavendra Puri 带来了这种对神爱的这一部分，也就是在马多瑞 Rasa 之中对主的服务。
So you may call it emotional sentiment. It's the highest spiritual rasa.
你可以管这个叫更有情感、更感情用事，但是其实这个是最高级的灵性的 rasa。
So that's why Lord Chaitanya took. Lord Chaitanya came to give the highest thing to people.
这是为什么朱彩他们的到来给人们带来最高的东西。
So if you worship Krishna as a little child, you're not going to have that same mood.
如果你要是把 Krishna 当成一个小孩来崇拜的话，你是不能得到这样的情感的。
We worship Krishna as Nava Yogana, eternally youthful.
我们崇拜 Krishna 是把它作为 Nava Yoganam 永恒的青春年少的形象来崇拜。
You worship him as a little child, that you're taking him like you're developing your motherly affection for him.
如果你把它当成一个小孩来崇拜的话，那么你就是在用母爱的情感来崇拜他。
But if you worship Krishna in his beautiful bending form, playing the flute, as Navayogana, eternally youthful, then you can develop that Madhurya rasa, the mood of the gopis.
但是如果你要是把 Krishna 作为 Nava Yoganam 永恒的青春年少的形体来崇拜，你就可以发展出 Gopi 们的爱。
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching that the worship of the gopis, they're the greatest devotees of Krishna.
所以主宰他的马哈巴布他在教导我们如何发展出最高的奉献者的那种情感，那就是 gopi 们的情感，对 gopi 们对 Krishna 的情感。
We follow in the footsteps of the gopis.
我们追随 gopi 们的步伐。另外一个问题来自于维会马德吉，尊敬的 guru， 我们这个传系是 Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya 吗？是的。Another question from 黎蝶兰马德吉，请问 Guru Dev， 如果如料 Prasada 的人，他并不知道那是 Prasada， 他会得到什么好处呢？ Guru Dev, if someone is taking Prasadam, but he doesn't know it is Prasadam, so what benefit he can get?
Well, it can satisfy his appetite, right?
这可以满足你的胃口，对吗？
Fill his stomach.
可以填饱你的肚子。
But he can also get free of sinful reactions.
但他还可以摆脱罪恶的反应。
If he will take the prasadam in a respectful mood.
如果他以恭恭敬敬的态度去荣耀菩萨的话。
We want people to know this is prasadam. This is food offered to Krishna.
我们想让人们知道这个是 prasadam， 这个是供奉给 Krishna 的食物。
We shouldn't just only eat it, but we should honor it.
我们不仅仅应该是去吃，我们应该去荣耀。
So when we honor prasad, take food with that honor, with that respect, then we will get the greatest benefit.
当我们去以极大的敬意去荣耀这个食物的时候，我们就可以得到最大的好处。
Now you don't know it's prasadam, and you don't know what it is, but you eat it, and so yeah, you get some benefit, but not a lot of benefit.
如果你不知道这个是菩萨的，你就把它给吃了，你可以得到一些好处，但不是很多的好处。
Maybe you can destroy some sinful reactions.
可能你可以消除一些罪恶的反应。
I find out in Calcutta Temple, in the restaurant, it's not a shop, it's a commercial restaurant. Already asked, they say it's not a shop. No, not a shop. The whole restaurant belongs to Islam. It's not a shop.
他说，在加尔各答伊斯康庙附属的那个葛文达餐厅里边，没有任何东西是菩萨的，全都不是菩萨的。
So don't eat it.
所以不要吃了。
So nobody, no devotee going there, only Kali.
他说，所以没有奉献者去那个地方吃东西，只有 karmi 去。
Well, it's all vegetarian.
全都是素食。
说的，据说是领袖是这布洛克们他们没有那个Krishna的小孩形象，就是有青出年少的形象，没有小孩形象。
I heard in Goloka Vrindavan there's no Krishna as a child, this form. There's only Krishna as Navayoganam, a youthful form.
是为什么呢？是不是为了培养我们的那个马多尔亚情感呢？
Why is that? It's only to help us to cultivate our mood of Madhurya Rasa.
Yeah.
是的，
That's the mood of Goloka.
那是 Goloka 的情感。 Thank you, Guru.
Jai Gauranga.
在美环境中，他们圣人的定义。
In Vedic culture, what is the definition of a sadhu?
A sadhu, well, is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There are certain qualities which a sadhu should have.
在圣曼巴格坦之中提到，一位萨度，一位圣人应该具备一定的品质。
Tatikshava, Karunika, Suridam, Sarvadehinam, Ajata, Satrava, Shantu, Sadhava, Sadhubhushana. Sadhubhushana. Sadhubhushana means the ornament of a sadhu. Just like, a woman has her ornaments, so a sadhu also has ornaments, certain qualities which decorate him.
萨杜布莎呢的意思是萨杜的装饰品，就像女人她们会佩戴一些装饰品来装点自己的躯体，萨杜它也要具备一定的品质，
tolerant,
容忍、
merciful,
仁慈，
friend of all living entities,
是与所有的生物体为友，
has no enemies,
没有敌人，
he knows the scriptures,
还了解经典，
like that.
就像那样。
This is a sadhu.
这是一位萨杜圣人。
It's not just you have a beard and you're a sadhu.
并不仅仅是说因为你长了胡子你就是萨杜。
Oh, you look like a good sadhu.
哦，你长得像一个特别好的萨杜。
You didn't shave for a month,
你1个月都没有剃
so
须了，
you're a good sadhu.
所以你是一个好的萨杜。
如果我们没有一个恰当的心态，在圣地待着，我们等于是没有在圣地里，还是在像中国的样子。
If we don't have a proper mentality to stay in the holy dam, does that mean we are actually not in the holy dam? We are still in China.
Yes.
是的。
那上人的讲课说，在圣地走路，都有那个得到做祭司的好处，那这个犯冲突吗？
And I heard some great devotees in their lectures, they mentioned even if you're walking in the holy dam, you get a lot of benefits. So what about this? I can get this benefit or not?
Yeah. Some benefit.
是的，你可以得到一些好处。
You have to do a lot of walking.
你要走好多的路才行。
还有在圣地睡觉都是顶拜，那这也是一个好处。那这好处只能一点点。
多睡。
Even sleeping in the holy dam is also considered as paying obeisances. If we can get little bit, that means you should sleep a lot.
A little bit.
是的，你可以得到一点点好处。
You're not doing any harm.
你也不会有任何坏处。
还有一个刚才说那个巴达瓦差呀，是这个朱太太呀，那个麻花说是参加我们这个集会。 是不是因为他是2元论才参加过来的？还有一个是那个山茶尔呀是1元论，那个1元论那个不是那个主彩电参加我们这个是因为2元论，是这个，有这个意思。
Madhvacharya joined our disciplic succession. Does it because his philosophy is dualism and Shankaracharya is monism? That's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu joined, because of this dualism.
We joined his discipline.
是我们加入了他的使徒传承。
Not he joined our discipline.
不是说他加入了我们的使徒传承。
我4个使徒传友都没有弄明白，现在我太愚蠢了。
So, yeah, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we said there are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu joined the one from Madhvacharya because of Madhavendra Puri.
我们说有4个 Vaishnava Sampradaya 使徒传承，而主Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 加入这个 Madhvacharya 的使徒传承，是因为有 Madhavendra Puri 的缘故。
Madhavendra Puri brought the mood of ecstatic love for Krishna.
Madhavendra Puri 带来了对 Krishna 的狂喜之爱。
可是巴德温的布瑞是谁呀
Who is Madhavendra Puri?
Madhvacharya Iga, Mantu de Mantu.
谁？
Madhvacharya, Madhavendra Puri, Madhvacharya, the Mantu, the Mantu.
Madhavendra Puri is Madhvacharya's disciple's disciple.
那他是主彩天家的，然后是他是主彩天家的主任的主任。
So he is the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord Chaitanya. So he is the many people after Lord Chaitanya.
Yes.
明白了。
Madhvacharya?
She's thinking Madhavendra Puri is after Mahaprabhu.
No. Madhavendra, Chaitanya is after Madhavendra Puri.
主Chaitanya是在 Madhavendra Puri 之后显现的。
哦。
There's Madhvacharya,
有 Madhvacharya，
and then there's 1 or 2 gurus, and then there's Madhavendra Puri.
然后是 Madhavendra Puri。
And then Ishvara Puri,
然后伊什瓦尔普
and
瑞，
then Lord Chaitanya.
然后就在丹尼。
哦，哎呀，非常感谢咕噜，因为我就知道这么多经典。我原来我真的我什么四分我真弄不明白。我上这一去只是转弯跟人转，人家走我就走，人家站我就站着。哎呦，我每次所以绕半个遍，我还经常在丢海。他讲完课我这还不知道啥情，没听明白。
Okay. 还有问题吗？
Any other questions?
No. Okay. 我们可以谈论。
他没有翻译够啥的。
有点不想知道。
1点、2点。
啊，我们不是
1点半到2点。
现在几点？
现在1点20。
1点20。
Now he's asking, Madhavendra is a person or a place?
A person.
是一个人。
啊？
是一个人。
谁是一个人
Yeah.
Who is the person?
Huh?
She's asking, who is the person?
Who is Madhavendra Puri?
Madhavendra 是一个人。
有的时候就是地名，他因为他在这里边是一帝
She
王。
was thinking this is also a name for the place.
No, it's not a place.
有的说他
这是
人
一个地名。
他人名是这个，完了他地名也起以这个为名，有时候经这样，所以说我有时候不知道是人名还是地名。
She's thinking in some cases, some place is named by a person, so she's thinking the same.
我经常这样以后。
Yeah.